Hello and welcome to justindwyerartistry. Today we're going to do 5 drawings in one. There's going to be fun, there's going to be information, and there's going to be shout outs. So get ready and let's get cracking. The first drawing is of a boxer dog. I'm using Prismacolor pencils, and this is my very first time using these pencils. I'm quite excited because I've never had a set of really good quality pencils before. I do sometimes use pencils for my artwork, and I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about my techniques and if there's any tips you have on how I can improve my drawings. I've got 5 drawings I want to show you today. Each of these drawings was requested by someone in the comments section of a video recently. I promised I would give a shout out to the person who requested a drawing if I went ahead and did it. Well, now I've done it, and so here we go. Some of you may have noticed I didn't get a video in last week, and I haven't really been replying to comments or watching other videos much. I've been so busy, I'm so sorry, but we will get caught up at some point. One thing I have been doing is a Draw Every Day challenge on Instagram, as well as a giveaway each week. So make sure you check me out on Instagram if you're not already following me. The link is in the description box below. So for the first drawing, I started out by laying in the basic shapes freehand. I'm trying out a new drawing setup with the camera mounted over my hand, drawing on a flat desk, which is not how I normally draw. I normally draw standing up at an easel, maybe sitting down if I have to. I'd love to know what you think about the new setup, so leave me a comment below and tell me, do you like watching me draw in this position? You won't see the back of my head so much, but you will get to see my hands a fair bit. I'm using a lot of browns, reds and oranges in drawing this dog. It's a really nice warm colour that will bring the dog forward off the page. I'm going to come in with some black soon just to add some more contrast, and then we're going to put in a little bit of blue just to complement the orange and really bring both the orange and the blue up in the drawing, the finished drawing. I'm trying to shade lightly so I can keep adding in more layers of colour as I go. I'm generally shading in the direction that the dog's hair will run in order to be able to assist me to build up the texture of the dog's hair. In addition, I've scribed some lines onto the paper before I started drawing in the direction of the dog's hair. This will also help me to add more texture. It gives a variation between the light and the dark, where the pencil can bite into the tooth of the paper more or less depending on the scribed line. I came across this technique on the channel of MDrawingM, so if you haven't checked out her work, she does amazing things with coloured pencil, far in excess of anything I'm going to do today. So there's a link in my description box below, go check it out. Boxer dogs were originally bred in Germany in the late 19th century. They were a medium to large breed of dog and were originally bred to be guard dogs. Boxers were used by the military in times of war as messenger dogs, also pack dogs as well as guard dogs. Boxers today are often kept as fun-loving, family-oriented pets. I've never had a boxer, but if you have, leave me a comment below and tell me what his name was. One of the problems with sitting down at a desk and doing a drawing is that you don't get many opportunities to step away from your work and have a look at it from a distance. In this case, I've made a fundamental mistake very early in the drawing that I can't now create because of the medium that I'm using. If you haven't spotted it already, I got the line of the eyes a little bit off. The left eye of the dog is a little bit too high and needed to come down a little bit. It's not a huge deal and it won't ruin the drawing, but it does annoy me because I can't stop looking at it. However, we can all make mistakes, and there's an opportunity here for me to learn something. And as we come toward the end of the first drawing, I'd like to point out that the gentleman who asked me to draw this is called Smitty ATO. Now I don't know where Smitty's from, but I don't think it's in Australia. If he was in Australia, ATO would stand for Australian Tax Office. And I wouldn't be very inclined to be giving him a shout out if that was his name. Smitty draws and paints. He does a lot of really interesting and unique characters. Now I don't know whether Smitty likes my jokes or not, but here's one for you now. Which dog keeps the best time? A watchdog, of course. And why do dogs run in circles? Because it's hard to run in squares. And as I add in the last few touches of blue and pink to the face of the dog, just to add that variety and to build in those last final characteristics, I just want to let you know that you can find all of the channels that I'm going to shout out today linked in the description box below. Make sure you go and watch them after you watch me. And there were the pencils that I used for this drawing today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget that there are 4 more to come. So thank you very much for your great suggestions, Smitty. I really enjoyed drawing this dog today. I hope you like it, and everybody check out Smitty's channel. He's a really interesting artist. Go and see what he's got to offer. And the next drawing was suggested to me by Jeff Sengstock. This is a drawing of a cute little Australian marsupial called an echidna. The echidna is a strange little animal. It has a beak like a bird, spines like a porcupine, a pouch like a kangaroo, and it lays eggs like a reptile. You find echidnas all over Australia, and it's not at all uncommon for me to see some near where I live. I didn't draw this one from life though. I got a picture of Pixabay for this one. If you want to try drawing one yourself, there's plenty of images out there on the internet that you can use as a reference. Then you can have your very own echidna at home as well. So I've started off the drawing with just a normal B grade pencil. No, that doesn't mean it's a substandard pencil. It just means that's the softness of the pencil. I'm going to mark everything out roughly with the pencil, and then I'm going to come in with something darker. I'm not going to draw every spine on the echidna's back. That would take me forever, and I would get very bored, and so would you. However, I'm just going to make some simple marks to help me understand the concept of how the echidna's spines lie down or stand up, and then we're going to draw it in roughly. I'm trying some new sources for music in my recent videos. Have a listen and let me know what you think. If you have any good tips on where I can get good music from, let me know and I'll check it out. A baby echidna is called a puggle. A group of echidnas is called a parade. What do two echidnas say when they kiss? Ouch. If you know any good echidna jokes, clean echidna jokes, leave them below in the comment section below. If it makes me laugh, I'll give you a shout out in a future video. Okay, I've dug out the charcoal pencil for this one. I really wanted to make some nice dark marks and get some really good contrast that I just wouldn't be able to achieve with a graphite pencil. I'm going to draw it more like a regular pencil drawing, however, and not so much as some of the other charcoal drawings that you guys have seen me draw on my channel. One of the things that I don't like about sitting down to draw is that I can really only use my hand and wrist movements in the strokes and the marks that I'm making in the drawing. When you're drawing standing up, you can get your elbow and your shoulder and even your whole body into the movements that you're making. You can get some very different types of movements. Whereas sitting down to draw and only using your wrist really shortens the stroke and gives you quite a limited range of motion in your drawing, which is okay with these quite small drawings, but if I was to try and draw a very large drawing like I usually do, then we'd have a problem. I'm drawing on very small paper at the moment because I'm trying to challenge myself to do something different. I find it uncomfortable to draw on a small piece of paper, so that's why I'm getting myself to do it. This paper is an A4 size, or for the Americans it's about 8.5 inches by 11.5 inches or something like that. Some of you might not think that that's particularly small, but it's definitely the smallest piece of paper that I ever work on. As it is, I'm having enough trouble keeping my hand out of the way so that you can actually see what I'm drawing. I'm actually adjusting my drawing technique so that I can keep my hand away from the camera, otherwise all you're likely to see is the back of my hand. I'm trying to leave some of the areas a little bit lighter where we're going to have some highlights. I can erase the charcoal at the end of the drawing to pick some highlights out, but I want to leave some of the paper reasonably clean. It will make it easier for me as I get to the end of the drawing. As I said earlier, I'm not trying to draw every single spine on the back of this thing. I don't know how many spines an echidna has, but it's many more than I'm ever going to draw. Instead, I'm just picking out a few of the shapes of the spines that I can see in the photo, and then I'm just recreating an appearance of that, showing the idea of spines rather than drawing in every single detail on the animal. Echidnas have a very low body temperature and a very slow metabolism. The body temperature is about 32 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the lowest body temperature of any mammal. This allows them to live long lives, and they can live up to 50 years in captivity. I've drawn in some basic shapes of grass around the front of the echidna, and I'm going to make a few vague shapes that might suggest some sort of trees or bushes in the background. I want to keep it all very vague. The main thing I want to do is take away the white of the paper. That way the drawing will blend in together and will balance a little bit better. I'm sticking with the graphite pencils for this because that will help keep it a little bit more vaguely defined and won't stand out as much and take away from the contrast in the echidna itself. So I've kept this drawing quite simple. I didn't want to go into too much detail with it. What I really like about this is all the different shapes and movement and direction that I'm getting out of the spines and the blades of grass in this drawing. All of these different shapes of line will give the drawing more energy, and that will please me greatly. Now it's time for the shout out. Jeff doesn't actually have a YouTube channel, but thank you very much for the suggestion, Jeff. It was an enjoyable drawing and I'm really glad I got to do it. Thank you. The next drawing suggestion was a giraffe by Mingming Art. I take it you guys really like my animal drawings. You've given me some really great suggestions though, and a lot of these are suggestions of things that I haven't actually drawn before, so thank you very much. So I'm back to using the Prismacolor pencils for this drawing. I've started out with something that's some sort of a raw sienna type colour. I don't know the names on the pencils yet very well. I'm just relying on the types of names and colours that I've used in the past in oil paint and pastels. No doubt the Prismacolor pencils will have their own unique names, and in time I might even learn what they are. Those of you who've been following me on Instagram will have recognised these drawings, of course, as I've been posting them as part of my Draw Every Day in February challenge. I'm doing a challenge where I will do a unique drawing each day and post it. I'm also doing a giveaway each week, so get on the gram and check me out. Oh yeah. This drawing of a giraffe is very similar to doing an adult colouring in a lot of ways. I have to keep colouring in all of the spots that I've drawn all over him. Or her. I don't actually know how to tell the difference in this picture. I've never been very good at colouring in. I always go over the edges, and I'm not particularly neat in how I draw or colour. I've always preferred a more expressive and emotional technique of drawing. It's one of the reasons why I don't use pencils so much. Pencils require a high degree of finesse in your approach, which I usually prefer not to use. I will admit that these pencils are quite good for detailed drawing. What do you get when you cross a giraffe and an echidna? A 12-foot high toothbrush. Although giraffes can actually grow to be about 5.5 metres, which is 16 or 17 feet. All that extra height that they have helps them to reach up to their favourite food, which is the acacia tree. Giraffes also have very long tongues which help them to reach even higher to get more of the leaves of the tree. The giraffe's tongue can grow up to 53 centimetres, and they need to devour about 45 kilograms of food every day, which is about 100 pounds for those in the US. I've been using a variety of browns and yellows for making out the colours of this giraffe. I'm now coming in with a fairly vibrant orange. I really want to warm this up and bring it forwards. That will help the animal to stand out more, but it will also create the impression of heat and warmth and sunlight, all which go hand in hand with the African savanna where these animals come from. What's your favourite animal? Why don't you leave me a comment below and tell me all about it? I always love to know what you guys have to say, so don't be shy. Leave me something below. We'll have a chat. I promise you I read every single comment. Sometimes I'm slow to get there, but I will get there. I'm using a very dark brown to add some shadows in. I've used a tiny bit of black in the very darkest areas of shadow around the eye and the nose. I don't want to use too much black because that will neutralise my colours, and I want the colours to stay strong. Did you hear about the giraffe and the ostrich race? It was neck and neck. Giraffes are herd animals and they live in groups called towers. The males will sometimes fight each other to assert their dominance in the group. They attack each other with their heads and long necks in a process called necking. Sounds like a pain in the neck to me. So thank you very much, Mingming. You've given me a really lovely drawing suggestion here today, and I've quite enjoyed drawing it. It's been a bit of a challenge. I've had to build up the layers various times. I've lost them. I'm getting them back again now. But it's a really cool animal, and I'm quite enjoying the process of trying to capture his spirit and present it to you guys today. Of course, it's time for the shout out for Mingming. Mingming Art is a tremendous channel, and I thoroughly encourage you to go and check them out if you haven't already. Mingming is a prolific and versatile artist. You will see amazing scenery, brilliant sunrises and sunsets, seas, mountains, villages, people, animals, birds, you name it. Mingming can paint it, and can paint it very well. So make sure, absolutely make sure, you do not miss Mingming's videos. One thing in particular that I find really amazing is just how much detail and depth Mingming manages to get into such small canvases. As I already mentioned, I don't like working small and I find it really challenging. So anytime I see somebody doing something quite small very well, I'm always impressed. Mingming Art, thank you so much. I'm really glad to have done this drawing today. Thank you. Now I hope I say your name right, mate, but Shaq Koyok Art asked me to do a drawing of a kangaroo. So here we go. I'm going to try and do 2 kangaroos. I'll give you 2 for 1. That's a bonus. Of course, now we're back to what we know and love. A larger piece of paper, a piece of charcoal stick, my hand, here we go. The charcoal drawings come together much faster than the pencil drawings, that's absolutely a fact. It takes a really long time to build up layer after layer after layer of the pencils. You can't come in hard and fast with the pencils and go for really dark lines straight away. I can do that with the charcoal, and it's not bad if there's a mistake because I can fix it. I can move things around, I can try different things. If I don't like where something is, I can just blend it back in and move it sideways, move it up, move it down, and it doesn't matter, so I can play with it as I go through the drawing. Charcoal really is a great medium if you like to experiment and try things out. The only thing you really need to do is just remember to keep cleaning your hands regularly. If you do that, everything will be fine. A lot of people mention to me in the comment section that if they use charcoal, they just end up with a smudgy mess. Now maybe it's just my personality, but I kinda like a smudgy mess. I think that it's a pretty cool way to do a drawing. And so to show you what you can turn your smudgy mess into, I've drawn today's in a technique that is basically just smudges and clean it, and then smudge it, and then clean it, and then smudge it, and then clean it, until it's all sitting exactly how you want it to be in the end. Just remember, the eraser is your friend. Every time you put a line and you don't like it, take it out again. I will note that this works much better with soft charcoal than hard charcoal. My preferred method is to use a willow or a vine charcoal to put down most of the layers, and just to use maybe a charcoal pencil or some compressed charcoal just to come in over the top, just like I am now, with just a little bit of detail, just a little bit of fine lines that I can't make with the small charcoal sticks. Alright, you guys have seen my videos before, you know I love charcoal, I'll shut up about it now. A kangaroo has very big powerful back legs and tail, which gives it a tremendous amount of strength and speed in moving. Some kangaroos can travel up to 65 kilometers an hour, which is about 40 miles an hour. What's amazing about a kangaroo is that even though it can travel so fast going forwards, it can't go backwards at all. It cannot reverse. There's a few different types of kangaroos that you'll find in Australia. I'm not going to try to name them all. This one simply is a wallaby, which is a small to medium type of kangaroo. Can a kangaroo jump higher than the Empire State Building? Yes, it can, because the Empire State Building can't jump at all. The longest kangaroo jump ever recorded was about 12.8 metres. That's about 40 feet for those of you that are non-metric speaking. Of course, the kangaroo is famously used as a logo on the tail of Qantas Airlines, and those of you interested in rugby union may well have come across the wallabies playing at different times. Of course, let's not forget the boxing kangaroo. Now, a kangaroo doesn't box quite like a human being would box, as in it stands on its legs and then punches with its arms. A kangaroo actually fights by sitting back on its tail and lashing out with its really powerful legs, and kicking and clawing and scratching. Of course, while it's doing this, it's sitting back very upright with its arms up in the air, and it looks like it has a small muscular chest and is about to punch you like a boxer. Kangaroos can range in size all the way down from something similar to a rabbit right up to something that stands around about as tall as I do. They're a little bit smaller in the stomach region though. What kind of music do kangaroos listen to? Hip hop. What kind of music do sophisticated kangaroos listen to? Opera. And speaking of hopping, you might like to hop over to my website and check out some of the new content that's gone up in the last few weeks if you haven't already. I've got a new series of articles that are going up weekly at the moment. Myself and the author of the articles would love to know what you think, so check it out. justindwyerartistry, and there's a link in the description box below. And let's not forget that we're here for a shout out. Shaq Koyok Art is a great artist who does a wide range of artistic activities. Make sure you check him out. Not only is he a great artist, but he's also very politically active and involved in a range of really interesting things. So go and find out what he's up to. Shaq Koyok Art, good on you, mate. I'm really glad to have done this drawing today. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your friendship. Thank you very much. Alright, we're on the home stretch now. Drawing number 5. Back to the Prismacolors for one last go. Here we go. Now Shaq, who I was just talking about a moment ago, asked originally for a kangaroo or an orangutan. Now, I couldn't make up my mind which one I liked, so I decided to draw them both. Looks like you get a double shout out, Shaq. I found this photo reference on Pixabay and I was absolutely smitten and fell hopelessly in love the very moment that I saw it. I don't know anything about these amazing creatures, but the moment I saw this particular photo, I fell madly in love with this particular individual and I have to know more. Now when I looked these creatures up, I found out that the name orangutan means man of the forest, and that these great apes with their distinctive red hair share 96% of the same genes as humans. Now, according to some websites that I took a look at when I was researching these animals, the biggest threat to their continued existence is the deforestation of their native homes due to planting palm oil plantations. Now, in my opinion, it would be a tragedy beyond belief to lose this amazing species off the planet just so that we can consume a few more sugary goodies. Orangutans live in the forest and spend most of their time in the trees. They have tremendously strong upper bodies, and a fully grown male can have a wingspan of up to 8 feet across the arms. They have opposable thumbs just like us, but they also have opposable big toes, so they can use their feet to grip just the same as we would a hand. Interestingly enough, 30% of orangutans don't have nails on their toes. Orangutans also have the same amount of flexibility in their hip joint as a human has in their shoulder, giving them a tremendous range of mobility for climbing in trees. Why do orangutans have big nostrils? Because they have big fingers. I seem to be using the same colour combinations for all of the 3 coloured animals that I've drawn today. A variety of browns, oranges and reds. I'm working more loosely with this particular drawing than with the other coloured pencil drawings. I don't believe that the orangutan wants to be carefully brushed and combed and presented without a hair out of place. The orangutan lives a wild life in a wild place, and I wanted to present that in this drawing. What should you do if you find an orangutan sitting in your space? Go sit somewhere else. Now don't get me wrong, just because I put a few jokes into my videos to try to keep them more entertaining and to amuse you fine people out there, doesn't mean that I don't care about these kind of issues or that I take it very lightly. That's not the case at all. I care very much about the world that I live in. I love nature absolutely and wholeheartedly. I believe that there are ways that we can exist in harmony with the rest of the natural world. I'm not against progress. I enjoy the benefits of my modern life with all the conveniences that science and medicine and progress have brought it. But I also don't see the need for us to cut down forests and to destroy the lives of harmless animals and amazing creatures. Once we've cut down all the forests, what's next? What do we cut down then? Let's use science and technology to make better progress and to find a better way. Destroying an ecology and wiping out a species is not progress. Let's not forget that we came from the same place as these amazing animals, and we all have to live on the same planet and use the same set of resources to carry on our existence. So let's use our intelligence, the amazing big brain that we've got, to make the world a better place, and so that everyone gets a chance and a fair go. Okay, I'm getting off the soapbox. Thank you very much, Shaq Koyok. I love doing this drawing. I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot. And thank you all very much for watching. Have a wonderful day and bye bye.